Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you just couldn't say no? You wanted something so badly that you were willing to go into debt to get it. We've all been there before, but what if there was a way to avoid these situations altogether? What if there was a way to control your impulses and save money at the same time? It sounds too good to be true, but it's not. And it all starts with the 15-minute emotional budget. Welcome to our channel, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. If you're not subscribed yet, you're missing out. So do it now. Have you ever heard of an emotional budget? Basically, it's a set amount of money that you allocate for emotional spending. This is money that you can spend without guilt or worry about the consequences. It is the money that you use to treat yourself when you have a bad day or to buy that spontaneous coffee. But here's the catch. An emotional budget isn't just about spending money. It's also about controlling your impulses. When you feel like you want to buy something on a whim, you need to ask yourself, is this a want or a need? Do I really need this item, or am I just buying it because I feel like it? If you find yourself in the latter situation, then you need to take a step back and think about whether you really need this purchase. Sometimes we buy things impulsively without really thinking about whether we need them or not. We do it because we feel like we deserve it or because we're bored. But when you have an emotional budget, you need to be more mindful of your spending. You need to make sure that you're only spending money on things that you truly need. That way, you won't end up wasting money on things that you don't really need. Emotional spending is a normal part of life. We all do it from time to time, but it is important to be aware of it and to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. When we spend money on things that we don't need, we're essentially buying temporary happiness. We may feel good for a moment, but ultimately we're just wasting our money. An emotional budget helps us to be more mindful of our spending and to make sure that we are only spending money on things that we truly need. It also helps us to be more aware of our emotions and to understand why we are buying certain things. Are we really happy, or are we just trying to fill a void? When we understand our emotions better, we're able to make better decisions about our spending. There are a few different ways to go about setting up an emotional budget. The most important thing is to find what works best for you and your lifestyle. Some people may choose to set a strict limit for themselves, while others may prefer to be more flexible. There is no right or wrong way to do it. The key is to find a system that helps you to be more mindful of your spending and to make sure that you are only spending money on things that you truly need. So how much should you allocate for your emotional budget? It really depends on your individual circumstances. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, then you may not have much wiggle room. In this case, you may need to start small by setting aside even just $5 per week for your emotional budget. As you get comfortable with this amount, you can gradually increase it over time. However, if you're in a more comfortable financial position, then you may be able to set aside a larger amount for your emotional budget. Ultimately, the decision of how much to allocate is up to you. There is no right answer. So how does this work exactly? Let's say you see something you want to buy. You check your phone to see how much money you have in your emotional budget and decide that you can afford to buy it. After buying it, you replenish your emotional budget by a certain amount. This way, you're ensuring that you have enough money for future impulse purchases. It's important to remember that an emotional budget isn't about depriving yourself. It's about being more intentional with your spending. By setting aside a specific amount of money for emotional spending, you're able to indulge in those spontaneous purchases without feeling guilty. You're also less likely to regret these purchases later on. With the 15-minute emotional budget, you're able to control your impulses and save money at the same time. It's a win-win situation. So if you're looking for a way to curb your impulse spending and save money, the 15-minute emotional budget may be just what you need. Give it a try and see how it works for you. And if you want some more tips on how to save money and achieve financial freedom, stay tuned for more content. See you next time.